Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Gaming News. Look who's back. We got Nick with us today, and the news today is Embracer Group. Embracer Group reportedly guts another studio in the wake of a dead-end $2 billion deal. A source at Zen Studios reportedly told Video Game Layoffs that 32 developers are out of a job. Embracer's scythe continues to swing in the wake of a collapsed $2 billion deal. And those developers are the latest to get the axe. Reportedly in Zen Studios, according to the Video Game Layoffs, one of its sources told them that 32 staffers at the Pinball FX studio were laid off. And then let's see here. Acquired by Embracer's subsidiary Saber Interactive in 2020. Those reports make Zen the latest in a big series of layoffs, a big series of just to developers. This year alone has seen 26 staff lose a job at Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition company Beamdog, and the wholesale closure of Saints Row maker Volition. Volition is gone. A studio with 30 years of history behind it just whacked. This has been a huge issue with Embracer Group. They were on a major purchasing spree over the last 3 years, especially during the COVID times. And now it seems like they didn't quite do the math on what they should be purchasing. So Embracer Group is huge. So I'm just going to run through a quick little list of what they've been buying. This isn't complete, but it is pretty notable. 2013, Embracer, then they operated as Nordic Games, made its first major acquisition buying Darksiders, Red Faction, MX versus ATV, and Destroy All Humans, and some other IPs for $4.9 million from bankrupt THQ. Some people remember them, some people don't. In 2017, they bought up Black Forest Games and its IPs, Gianna Sisters, Eldorado, Rogue Stormers, for just a little $1 million. That's all. A week later, they acquired Pieces Interactive, makers of Magicka and Titan Quest, for $350,000. And then they brought Experiment 101, developers of Biomutant, for about $9 million. And then it just keeps going and going. They bought up Volition, of course, Dambuster Studios, makers of Dead Island 2, Homefront: The Revolution, and so on and so forth. They got Free Radical, makers of Time Splitters, Kingdom of Amalur, and the latest Kingdom of Amalur Reckoning. And they're going to continue to buy and dismantle. Now, that was only up to 2018. There are a ton of studios they've continued to buy and purchase from. They bought many IPs from Square Enix, such as Tomb Raider, which was really gross to hear about because Nick pretty much called it back then. They're gone. That's it. They're gone. So their purchasing spree has basically led to unemployment sprees. And it's going to continue because what they have been putting out has not been the best work. And they bought some great developers. So let's figure this out. So let's jump over to Nick here and get his opinion on this and what he thinks about another major layoff.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that more the Embracer's laying off more people. You're exactly right. I think Embracer, and a lot of companies did this during COVID. They bought up a lot of stuff. They hired a lot of people. They ramped up their staff. And, I'm not sure if it was a calculation in which they thought that COVID would last longer or that life as we knew it would change in some significant way that they would have to go this route. Because once life got back to normal, then they learned, we made too many rash decisions during that time. we hired too many people, we bought too many studios. For Embracer, they had this $2 billion deal that went south, and it seems like they made poor decisions, or somebody did, right? They were banking, it felt like they were banking on this deal going through, not taking into consideration if this deal doesn't. Or they did take into consideration that if this deal doesn't, they're going to start taking companies out. Embracer is like a double-edged sword in the fact that a lot of these companies that they bought were going under to begin with. So they did, not every one of them, but a lot of them were IPs that were out in the ether, or companies that were dying off anyway and were losing money and going bankrupt. So they kind of snagged them out of the ether and brought them into their fold. Problem is a lot of these companies haven't, and a lot of the IPs they've bought and haven't done anything, right? They did do Destroy All Humans remakes of the first two games. Or not remakes, but remasters of the first two games. And then we have Tomb Raider remaster of 1, 2, and 3 coming out here soon, that Tomb Raider collection. And supposedly Crystal Dynamics is working on a new Tomb Raider game, or somebody is. I'm assuming Crystal is, but I don't know. But that, all we have are just rumors that a new one's being in the works. But Darksiders hasn't seen anything for a long time since Darksiders Genesis, which Genesis didn't do as well. But Genesis was that top-down version of Darksiders, which Darksiders is typically a third-person action game, right? And they really haven't done anything with anything else. So a lot of the companies that they had or they have purchased, they just kind of, I don't know if those companies were building stuff or they were just sitting on them and eventually got rid of them. But Embracer was doing good as far as grabbing these companies, but they've done bad in some form of something, right? Volition with Saints Row, as far as Embracer goes, are they hands-on with these development groups or are they hands-off, right? It almost feels like with Volition that they might have been hands-on or a little too micromanaging with it. I'm not sure if Saints Row, the reboot or remake, I'm not sure if that is exactly what Volition, I was going to say violation of Volition wanted to make, right? It could be coming from higher ups or from Embracer Group that they make something more for the kids type thing, right? I mean, it almost felt like, it was like super fresh, right? I mean, that's kind of how they made it, like so new age, like just hipster, right? Kind of style, instead of like just how Saints Row is goofy and kind of like gang related. It was almost like I had a pack of, I don't know. It almost felt like my in Saints Row. It almost felt like my group of gangsters were more like just frat boys that party on the weekend and steal some stuff sometimes. Right? We're bad boys, and that was pretty much what it felt like instead of like some criminal enterprise. Right? So yeah, I just don't know what's going on. And at first, we thought Embracer was going, was buying all these companies and it was kind of the saving grace. But so far, since they've bought in these companies, they really haven't shown any anything that's been, nothing really great has come out of any of the studios they've purchased. And so it's like, maybe it wasn't a saving grace, right? They bought some great companies and some great IPs. We just don't know what they're doing with them. And if they are doing stuff with them, so far, they haven't done a great job with what they've gotten. So this is just another thing where it seems like they've screwed up, right? They've, again, they were betting on this $2 billion deal, and either, again, they weren't thinking about the negativities of it, right? What if it goes south? What do we do then, right? They didn't have a backup plan, it seems. Or the backup plan was, if it does go south, we start firing people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, problem with the way this all works is when companies do this, it's their motto becomes, goes from welcome to the family to our loss is your loss. So get lost. That's pretty much what they're doing, and it's a load of crap. I think Embracer needs to stop the purchasing train and start working on creating solid IPs that they've owned. I mean, they have Tomb Raider, and I don't know where the latest Tomb Raider is at in development, but I know they were in development. So where is it at? I mean, it's been a while. I mean, I can't remember when the last Tomb Raider came out, but it's been a while, and the last 3 sold pretty damn well, if I remember correctly.
I mean, the only thing that we have, that was before they were owned by Embracer, right? The last 3 Tomb Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing we have looking forward to for Tomb Raider is the remake of 1, 2, and 3, that collection that's coming out here in the next couple months or the next month or so.
Yeah, I totally forgot that was even a thing. So if that's Embracer Group's plan is just to release HD remasters, I'm not sure how far they're going with the re-release, but most likely,
that's all they've done so far, right?
Yeah,
with Beyond Destroy All Humans and now Tomb Raider, and I'm sure Embracer's probably they're probably
Destroy
made other
Humans.
Stuff,
Destroy Humans 1 and 2 were definitely on the remake end of it, I believe, because they were much better looking. They played much better, but they weren't quite Resident Evil remake, quality either.
Well, I guess we got. According, take it with however you feel. They apparently own Alone in the Dark, so we are getting a new one of those, according to what it says.
Now that makes me nervous.
According to Google, and Google lies, but or maybe Google never lies. I don't know.
The internet don't lie. The internet is truth.
Yeah, it's 100% true. And so, according to that, I mean, it says that they own. I don't know if they own the IP or if they just own the studio. I'm not sure on that, but it says that they do. So, we're getting one of those beginning of next year, right? It's supposed to come out this year, but they pushed it back. So we don't know how well that game's going to do, but I hope it's good, because I would love to see Alone in the Dark. I would love to see, like, as many times as we get Resident Evils, that we also get like Alone in the Darks, right? They tried to do that with what was that one game? Shoot. That horror game with the cop and psychological stuff, and I can't remember. I'll look it up, but Evil Within.
Oh,
they tried to do that with Evil Within.
Tinker,
which Evil Within 1 and 2 were good. I like those games. They just didn't really do anything with them, right? And we get horror games here and there. Of course, we got Silent Hill coming back, but Alone in the Dark's I always felt like it tried to be but it tried to be a franchise like Resident Evil. It just never could compare. So hopefully with this new one, it could get there, and then we could see these come out every so often, and people look forward to Alone in the Dark as well as Resident Evil. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so if you want some more Alone in the Dark, go watch the movie with Christian Slater. Hate me later. But yeah, it's heart-wrenching to watch anybody who loses a job, especially people who make things that I love, video games and cake. I mean, so anybody that loses jobs making video games or cake, it breaks my heart, especially the video games and the cake. So hopefully they all bounce back on their feet. Hopefully Embracer Group starts learning and starts putting games out instead of bringing games in. So, but we're going to have to wait and see, unfortunately. But Nick, you got anything else on this, bud?
Nope. Let's wrap it.
Let's wrap it. All right. Treat it like prom. Let's wrap it. Let's also hit those notifications. Let's also hit that subscription, and let's tell us what you think. Let us know how you feel about Embracer Group doing all these purchases. Let us know what you think about all these layoffs and just straight up gutting they're doing. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to tell your friends, and we will see you next time. See ya.